Hey people, welcome to my channel. I'm Shelly, the gray-haired mama, and I am here for moms over 55 who want to thrive in this season of their lives. So if that's you, you have come to the right place, and you might want to hit that subscribe button. Today, I'm going to talk about figuring out what's next in your life now that you have an empty nest. Now, first, I want to clarify that having an empty nest is more of a mindset in these days of COVID-19. For instance, if you have a child in college, that child in college might be having college in your house because the dorms are closed. Or maybe you have a child who's lost his job because of the pandemic, and he's back at your house because he needs to get on his feet again. Well, then your nest is technically not empty, but you have still entered the empty nest season, and so you still need to have an empty nest mindset. Or perhaps your youngest is a senior in high school, so you really are not an empty nester, but you can see the end of the line approaching, and things are starting to shift. If that's the case, this video is for you. So if you're like many moms, you have not been center stage of your own life in a long time. Now, when you got married and you were a bride, you were center stage. Or when you got pregnant and you had a baby shower, you were absolutely center stage for that. And when you had a milestone birthday, you probably were center stage for that too. And that felt good. But other than that, you have not been center stage. You have not been the main character. Now, you have been a producer, you have been the director, you have been the creator, but you have not been the star. Your children have been the stars. Your children have had christenings and baptisms, first birthday parties, preschool graduations, kindergarten graduations, dance recitals, music recitals, sports competitions, bat mitzvahs, bar mitzvahs, quinceañeras, sweet 16s, high school graduation parties, college graduation parties. You name it, they've had it. Your children have been the center of the universe. Well, your universe. But you have not had a starring role or been the main character for any of that. Now, like I said, you may have been the producer, you may have been the director or the creator, but guess what? Nobody sticks around for the producer's name to roll through the credits. Everyone has left the theater by then. So here you land after 25, 30 years of relative obscurity, wondering, who am I and what do I do next? I'm going to help you with that in this video and in future videos. So please subscribe if you don't want to miss any video in this series. So I want to start by talking about who you are. What I mean by that is, what makes up the parts of you? Here is a pie chart. It's a pie chart of the average mom's life. Now, for simplicity's sake, all of the pieces of this pie are equal. But in actuality, every person is different, so some pieces are bigger than others. For instance, some moms have jobs or careers that are really substantial, so they have less time for other things. But in this example, let's start with equal pieces of the pie. In order to figure out what's next, you have to figure out what's now. In other words, to figure out where you're going, you have to figure out where you are. Let's talk about that by going back to the pie chart. These are the broad categories that make up who we are. Let's start with relationships. These are the people in your life. Your kids, your spouse, your parents, your siblings, cousins, in-laws, other relatives, and your friends. Next is your career. This is your vocation. It is how you contribute to the world. People think of it as how you earn money, but you don't have to earn money doing this. If you were primarily a stay-at-home mom, you earned $0, but you absolutely, positively contributed to the world. Just no one paid you for it. You should have been paid for it, but that's another story. If you are a stay-at-home mom with an empty nest, you have just experienced a major career shift. And we're going to talk more about that later. Next, we have hobbies and organizations. This is what you do and what you enjoy in your free time. You might knit, play the piano, you might bake. You might be active in your church or your synagogue. Maybe you belong to clubs or social groups or civic organizations. That is also part of you. The next part is your home. Yes, your physical home. Some people don't consider home as part of you. But if you're a mom, our homes are our nests, and our nests are really important. We decorate, declutter, clean, rearrange, organize, spruce up our nests. We raised our families in those nests. So they are part of who we are and what we do as moms. Last is personal. Look, it's at the bottom. Isn't that typical? Because as moms, we often find ourselves at the bottom of the list. And that's if we make it onto the list at all. But personal is everything that's specific to you. It's your mind, body, soul, emotions, spirituality, your psyche. It's what you read, what you watch on TV, what you eat, what you listen to, what you wear, how you style your hair, your makeup, your health, who you surround yourself with too. It's the care and feeding of you. Now, we've talked about the pie slices that make up you. But now let's pause for a second to talk about and think about the size of the different pie slices. As you go into the empty nest season of life, some of those pie slices will contract and others will expand. And that's a shift that you're going to feel. And it may throw you off balance, but it's definitely something you have to experience and you have to acknowledge. Now, I want to talk specifically to the moms who are stay-at-home moms, or maybe a part-time stay-at-home mom, or a sort-of at-home mom, or semi-at-home mom, or a mom who is at home at heart. You know who you are. Your career was raising your kids. Your career was taking care of your family. That was your vocation, your main purpose in life. And chances are, you were pretty good at it too. And you loved that job. But here's the truth. When your last child graduated from high school, you got laid off. You were downsized, demoted, forced into retirement. Now, some people hate their jobs, and so they're happy to be downsized. But you probably loved that job. And you were so good at it, you had it for 25 or 30 years. So it was a very big part of you. The reason you even got up in the morning. It structured your life, and it was your purpose. Now, let me remind you, you've had a sneak peek at this. Assuming you weren't a homeschooling mom, when your last little one went off to kindergarten, you were downsized then too. That's why you were a little sad and lingered a little bit too long at that kindergarten door. But you snapped out of that real fast. Shucks, life is really busy when you have little ones. And you were just happy to be able to go to the grocery store by yourself. There's very little time for self-reflection when you've got little ones to take care of. And besides, you got heavily involved with your children's life. I mean, you were the class mom, you got involved with their sports and their music and everything else they did. Raising a family can keep you running and distracted and happy. Fast forward to now, and your last one is graduating high school or has already graduated. And that piece of the pie that you love so much has been greatly reduced. There's no easy way of getting around it this time. There's no quick snapping out of it. You're still a mom, but the way you mother has drastically changed. And this time, there's no easy way to snap out of it. You've got a void to fill. And it could be a tremendous void, depending on what else you've got going on in your life. For example, if you were mostly a stay-at-home mom, but didn't belong to a lot of clubs or organizations, and you didn't have a lot of hobbies, your pie chart might look more like this. Your career slice, which for you is being an at-home mom, is bigger, but your hobby slice is smaller. So when you're downsized, that is, when your last child graduates, you will have a huge void. And let me just say this. It makes no sense and is absolutely ridiculous for people to shame you because you're sad or you feel a little bit lost when your last child graduates from high school. Of course you are happy and excited for your child, but your job has just been downsized. You have received a demotion. It is completely normal for you to feel sad. So don't let people make you feel any worse by telling you that you shouldn't feel the way you do, because you should. It's normal. You're human. When your last child leaves, there's a void. It's a big void, and you need to figure out how to fill it. So let's talk about that next. Moms fill that void in a variety of different ways. Now, some moms just do a one-for-one swap, like last kid goes to college and mom goes back to school herself, or last kid leaves the house and mom gets a very, very good job that takes a lot of her time. One for one. Now, some moms just swap one kid for another. Like, for instance, they might start taking care of a grandchild, or they might decide they want to become a foster parent. That's another one-to-one swap. For other moms, there's a shifting that occurs. In other words, the extra time and energy that you have left because your kids don't take that time and energy anymore is spread evenly between your hobbies, your home, your relationships, your organizations. There's an even spreading out, and everything gets a little bit more. Or sometimes after that last child leaves the nest, only one slice of the pie might get that extra nod. For instance, okay, Johnny has graduated. It's time for me to get a new bathroom or redo my kitchen or get new floors. That's another way to fill the void. The truth is, it doesn't really matter what method you use to fill the void. You just need to realize that if raising your children day in, day out was your main reason in life, you're going to have to figure out another reason for being. It's not that your kids aren't important to you anymore. Of course they are. You're still a mom. Your kids just don't require the kind of time and energy they did when they were in preschool or middle school or high school for that matter. That part of your mothering life is over. The day in, day out, sun up to sundown, hands-on mothering part is done. And I know that's really hard to come to grips with. You have poured your life into those little vessels and you've loved every minute of it. You probably don't even know another way to live. But now is the time to refocus and figure that out. You are going to have to pour some of that life back into yourself, because the fact of the matter is you're not done living. But you're not going to be able to do it just like that. Your next is not going to come immediately. You have to give yourself some grace and some time. You just need a new roadmap. You need an updated roadmap. The one you had was very good, but it has stopped. It left you right at the edge of the road, and you still have places to go. So in the next video, we're going to unpack that just a little bit more, and I'm going to help you get started to creating your own updated roadmap. So until next time, this is Shelley, the gray-haired mama. You take excellent care.